Hello everybody, SeKo Starcraft back bringing you some games from my good pal Gonzy's Community Cup Tournament number 9. We have got Light. Well, Light's up here. I just saw the text and I got everything confused. We have Light versus Abomination. Now these guys look from the same team or same club or at least same group of friends that like to call themselves Pred-Gs. And I'm pretty sure that Light was either one of the top players in this tournament, either a winner or a runner-up, but he was one of the top talents. So I'm excited to see how Light up here as the Terran player in pink is going to do in this. Now, if you guys want to learn a little bit more about Gonzy and the Community Cup he puts on, I'm putting a link in the description to the website he's set up with some information about that tournament. As well, there's a link to his stream. He is a German. Well, he casts in German. And therefore, you're going to see probably the dialogue happening in German as well. So if there's some German fans out there, his Twitch stream, you can see all the action from this Community Cup number 9, casted in German. And who knows, maybe if he likes some of the action that's coming on here, he'll let me participate in that and be some of the English presence to it. I'll talk to him about it later. Nice. Now that I know that there's going to be more German people watching this, I probably won't try to mock the German language and attempt to say it. Skill. Big skill. We're going to see the Zerg go for the hatch first. Pretty standard. This map, there's a lot of people that don't really enjoy this map as much. I tend to not have any problems with it. I'm very surprised both these, well, 2 racks incoming. I like doing that too, you just throw people off. I'm very surprised the Terran player is going to be going for a super economy opening on this one because it's very, you know your opponent is going to be starting. It's not too hard for you to make a handful of lings and go over there and just deny some of this stuff. Yeah, I don't really know what they're saying. Maybe German by heritage, but I don't know enough of the German to really give it any credit. So, macro-focused opening. This is a bit of a longer game here. So you guys better strap yourselves in and grab yourselves a coffee. Just like I have. I'm so tempted to just try to make this stuff up as I go along. I believe Abomination is talking about he's in grade school right now. And he's lingering in grade school a little bit too long. And he really wants to move on from that. Have you tried taking roaches to school? Or ultras to school? And been able to help you with that? Maybe Light hasn't considered that. The luge, maybe they're talking about the Winter Olympics. They're coming up really soon. The luge is going to be a sport there. It is a fairly normal sport. It's been around for a while. I don't know what the odor that lugers have. They can sometimes have a pretty profuse odor. Scout with an E. It's very oldie time-ish. Yes. So. Standard openings, Queen's on the way, Orbital's all happening, Factory coming out after that. We'll see if he wants to go into a fast third command center or any type of extra pressure. I know that Light and I'm assuming Abomination are both really, really talented people, so I've got to assume that they're going to have a bit more of a macro focus on this, as we don't see any kind of crazy tech-oriented cheese openings. And they're very cutting the corners with this, so you only get out a couple Marines. Oh, it doesn't pull down the supply depots. I don't know if these Zerglings are going to be able to get any damage in. They're going to get a nice scout. I mean, that's always effective. You probably could have lowered that supply depot down. But I don't think it's too big of a deal. And then that's taken care of. We don't have a third hatch coming out just yet. I don't know if there's a little bit of worry about Uberschendnes. Ja. There is the command center we have coming out on this side, and there we have coming out on this side. He's very keen about proxy racks. Smiley face. They might have been talking about being a little bit worried about proxy racks. These guys more than likely play a lot of games with each other, so they'll know each other's style a little bit more. And going for proxy racks is just one of those strategies you want to have in your back pocket at all times, just in case. It's nice sometimes to, there we go, have your hellions there to poke down, just to get the damage in on any type of zerglings that are just chilling out. They do have speed. I like how it's chasing these. I don't know if that's necessarily a great plan. Actually got in a fair bit of damage on that one Hellion. Got about 6 shots off on it before it was killed. And it might not seem like it's a big deal, but it just means that they're not going to be able to poke in as far before you start taking some serious damage. Now I'm pretty sure the Zerg player, yeah, he doesn't know... Ooh. That is a lot of lings out now. He's going to pull back there. It's going to make him a little bit more hesitant to poke in too far, knowing there's that many Zerglings already on the map. But that is a lot of drones that didn't get made. You'll see a lot of, pro Zerg players either go for this big Zergling number to control the map and hope to get the surround on the Hellions, or they're going to just get out a few extra queens, have them down here on the low ground. But then you run that risk of them running by and doing a ton of damage. And I've seen that. It doesn't take much for even 4 Hellions to get maybe 8 drone kills, because of how saturated you generally are as a Zerg player. You can get the lineups and get a lot of damage in. So these Zerglings should give him a bit of peace of mind. And he's got the creep spread going pretty good. He'll know if things are getting too close to his territory or not. Just kind of moving around, see if he can bait out those Zerglings for some shots just on the edge of the creep. I was about to say, I don't think he should go for it. That's pretty unfortunate there for Light. I mean, he might be able to clean up the rest of... No, he's not even. Gets all of his Hellions cleaned up, and that's really crappy as a Terran player, because now that was all of his map control. That was a lot of his vision. You can see that he's scanning right now. And there's actually a lair finished, but there's no tech in this part of his base. I think no, he didn't see the roaches come out. Roach is an interesting choice for me. It's a very defensive-minded choice, and after he killed the Hellions, I think these roaches, unless he's specifically going to go kill Light really soon, I think they're a bit of a waste. We'll see. He's got the banelings, he's got the upgrades going. The creep could be spread a bit further. So I just think it's defensive. And I think it had been easier for him to position some Zerglings out here, particularly around this base. He's got the Overlord moving over. And then just keep finishing up with his tech and his macro. Because it's going to be a while before the Terran player really wants to confidently move out. Just because of losing all those Hellions. Now the Terran player doesn't know if it's going to be some sort of Spire tech coming. He doesn't have any of his actual missile turrets down, anything of that nature. But we see he's not even going for a third base yet. Salvages some bunkers. I think he was afraid of getting busted. Good chunk of widowmines. And there's the 4th base. So, I mean, the Zerg player is playing this pretty well. If we look at the overall units tab there, 69 workers, 63. So you could probably use, yeah, just a few more. Sometimes it's nice to get up somewhere around 80 or 85. And what I also really enjoy doing is, if you've got this huge lead and you know you're in a comfortable spot, get down a few extra static defenses. You've got the money generally at this point. You can sacrifice a few workers to do that. And what that really means is that you're not going to get a drop in here that's going to cost your opportunity to keep your advantage going. One drop that came in the back here, even though he's got Zerglings with speed, he could get in a lot of damage. That's actually a really interesting spot for that Spore Crawler. You can barely even see it back there. I don't even know if it can get out. Scans. This is a good scan. He sees the army. Baneling speed is not finished yet. 2-2 is on the way. 2-2 slightly ahead for the Terran. Neither of those upgrades are going to be finished by the time these armies look like they're going to clash. This creep is very, very important, though. I would think it'd even be worthwhile to get another queen out here moving creep, just because you're dealing with this very biocentric style with a baneling counter and no mutalisks. You need your speed and your mobility. And we see that the Zerg player is already splitting up to go for a bigger surround. Unfortunately, he'd only triggered 1 widowmine out of all that. That was a little unfortunate for him. Marauders out in the front, ready to tank any of that damage. And Centrifugal Hooks is about to finish up here. So it would be actually very important if the Terran is going to push in to do it here fairly soon. I'm surprised none of those widowmines were triggering at all. That was really, really strange. Unless he was individually microing those widowmines, I'm actually very surprised. But that was a great trade there for Light. He got a ton of damage in. There are some banelings here though, so he has to be very careful. Ton of lings about to bust. Ultralisks on the way. Few zerglings getting a little caught out in front. He did clear up most of the widowmines. There's only 2 left in this composition. There's the big pickup there. I don't think he sees that yet. He should see it soon. He's already used the boost. The Zerg player is playing pretty passive at this point here. I think he could catch his opponent off guard if he did push out. Oh, nice fungal. That kind of came out of nowhere. He might lose his queen. That's a little shitty. Back into the main swing of things. And the Terran army got cleaned up on that side. But look at the damage happening. Whoa. There's the Ultralisks. Chitinous is going to be finished pretty quick as well. Not much army over here from the Terran player, but there's no anti-air mixed in with this really to take care of these medevac numbers. Proxy hatch, good spot for it. There's a little bit of the static D that I was talking about. If we look at the units tab, 71 workers to 70. Pretty good amount of army here. So he is going to run by, maybe get a little bit of damage in on this base. It's a nice move by Abomination. Terran player is not responding to this very quickly. And they're about even in the stuff they've lost now. Now they're about the same supply, and I think that it'd be more worthwhile for Abomination to really try to go for some kind of just harass attacks for the time being. But that he has these Ultralisks and big Baneling counts, he might be able to push in and get some serious damage. It's difficult to say. Oh, good fungals. The Banelings don't get the hits they need. This is where you kind of got to go and get some sort of, for sure, damage. I like coming after this base over here, going for this economy. He needs to get something accomplished. If he doesn't kill some economy or some production buildings or something, it's going to essentially be for naught all of this attack that he's doing right now. Light will be able to recover. His medevac count isn't going down. As the bio keeps filtering out, eventually he might be able to turn this tide here. Banelings did try to get into the economy, but there's not much here. Up on this side, he knows that this base is here. I'd love him to see take just a handful of these lings north and try to get a bit more damage. Getting in some damage here. Supplies, once again, have been somewhat equalized. The Terran is a little bit beaten up, but because of all these medevacs, we'll actually be in an okay spot. Keeping up on those injects, more infestors. Upgrade still rolling along. 3-3 finishing up right away for the Terran. 3-3. About a third of the way done right now for the Zerg. Mega drop. Super mega. We'll see where that ends up going. With the infestors out, going for mega drops can be a bit of a risk. And that's another reason why I say get some of those static defenses down to buy you some time. Don't think these Zerglings are going to catch this drop is coming. I do like splitting up the drops a little bit. This is actually very important. This is how the Terran could get back into this game right now. Oh, he missed his fungal. A lot of Marauders in this composition. The Banelings are not going to be as effective. He took a lot of Banelings to try and clean that up. That attack gets cleaned up. This attack's going strong. That base got cleaned the hell up. So they're actually dealing each other pretty heavy blows right now. Alright. Now let's look at the kill tab here. Lots of kills on the Terran economies, down to 55 workers. Rushing across the base now. More banelings in play. A big problem has been this lack of widowmines in the composition right now. The widowmines are so critical for just changing the, you know, just the way all this turns out. Gonna get them fungals. Most of the banelings ran into marauders up on the north. The fungals are really good here. So important to lock down that bioarm if you're going to be using ultralisks as part of your composition. There were banelings over here, sorry, zerglings over here, but they must have got cleaned up. I don't know if the marauders are going to be able to run. They probably could have just stood and fought a little bit more effectively. He's going to lose those, rather unfortunately. Even to get burrow might be worthwhile, just to cost a few scans before your units die. So the supplies are keeping fairly equal right now. Terran player is rebuilding his economy back up, always has those mules he can cast. More banelings. A lot of the creep has died. Queen's finally over here spreading more. And what I'd love to see is something to take care of these medevac numbers. A handful of corruptors maybe? Just something, because these are really keeping the Terran player in this fight a lot better. Get the fungal! Oh, I missed. Oh, that's a good fungal. That's what you want, usually an infested Terran or two down there. It's very unfortunate that the Terran player noticed that very late. He lost 3 or 4 medevacs there. He probably didn't need to. Did cost a lot of fungals, though, to do that. I'd like to see a few more Zergling run-bys. I thought they were really effective on both of these bases. Keep the Ultralisks and the Infestors back at home to deal with the bulk of the army. And go for more of these really, really effective Zergling run-bys. Oh, that's unfortunate. Well, he's going to catch the Terran army in a complete surround and just clobber it. There's a bit more Zerglings back there. Once again, just pick up and get out of there. Just get that Spire tech down. Even a very subtle muta transition, just 4 or 5, you can run around and do some some economy damage. Because these bases are completely unprotected. Looks like this hatch is just starting up again finally. I'm not going to say this is a low econ game, because it really hasn't. But we haven't seen either of these players get that close to max in a long time. More run-bys, some burrow attack plays, burrowed banelings maybe. Just go do some damage, you need to. Well, I saw this drop go south. Base trade might not be a bad idea either. Just go for the production. Oh, another double drop. Doing tons of damage over here. The Zerg player is not watching this happen. Got some pretty good fungals off on this from the looks of it. Picks up once again. Ugh. And I feel bad because I was just sitting here watching this game. I can think of so many things that I'd like to see this Zerg player do a bit more effectively. Because he's defending well, but he's just not throwing back the attacks well enough. Does damage here and there. Like I said, even a base straight into the production, if he could bust up the ramp and get in here, just to control the production for a while, might be really, really effective. Fungals. It's very difficult as a Terran player to try and control 3 different layers of units, and he gets crushed because of that. Upgrades are finished, so taking out the engineering base not as big of a deal. Good fungals. Infested Terrans really aren't worth that much anymore just because they don't carry the upgrades, so they generally get slaughtered pretty fast. Oh, there we go. Something ran over here. Looks like a Baneling assault took out a bunch of things. A few more zerglings in each of these mineral lines once again would be very, very advantageous. You can see just this green line of stuff moving across the map. But once again, he knows about these bases, he just hasn't done anything about it yet. Maybe his hope is that he crushes the production facilities and just camps them well enough. But he just doesn't have enough units, I think, that that's going to be the case. He's lost a lot of his supply depots, though. So that'll be a bit of a bugger for Light if he does stabilize from this fight. I think the only reason he hasn't GG'd is because his economy hasn't been killed yet. There we go. Now he's getting a bit of damage in. So many of these SCVs were so damaged before from the last attacks. But we can see that Abomination supply is super low now as well, because he has lost all of those Ultras, all of his Infestors. Just doing what you can. Now if we look at bases, this base is still mining. This one is up and mining. If we look at the units wise, 46 workers to 16. Terran players in a pretty tough spot. I like the goop taking over those bases just to make sure. I don't think continuously going after the production is necessarily the best idea. I know that's what he really wants to do. And it's hard for him to afford to throw up static defense at this point. He should be able to come home and defend this. It'd be nice to take down these rocks potentially, because right now they are really slowing down his ability to come back and defend. Good chunk. Oh, losing that Ultralisk sucks. Good chunk of Zerglings here, though. Medevac count really helps keep him in here. The only difference here is that these Medevacs are almost out of energy. But otherwise, yeah, it's just this giant pile of Medevacs still keeping the Terran player in it. There's some mining going here. This base is not, and he's making some SCVs, but they're not going towards anything right now. Losing those Infestors is pretty sucky. So saying just a couple Corruptors, just something to put a little bit of damage in. I wouldn't go for anything like Broodlords or anything at this point, just because they're so immobile. I don't know if the Zerg player is starting to feel the pressure here now. I'm feeling like there might be a GG coming soon. Great snipe on the Infestor once again. Oh, that might be GG for the Zerg player. Oh, and that feels so bad. He's been in the lead for so long. Look how beat up this army is. No energy on the Medevacs. But there's not much you can do. Fresh reinforcements coming out. Terran is mining, right? Well, he's got a couple of Zerglings just being jerks. Gotta do what you gotta do. But once these bases go down, the Zerg players essentially no longer got any bases. GG's out. Like I said, I think the Zerg player had that game for a long time. I think that he just didn't have an answer for the Medevacs. Helped him keep that Terran army just going a lot longer and more cost effectively. Every time he attacked the production facilities, he never really got in that damage. And then he couldn't really starve out the Terran player well enough. As you can see, there's barely anything here. If he just managed to do some denials, and he sees this with his overlords, I think he'd been a bit better of shape going into that final fight. Regardless, great game. Props to Light for sticking it out in that a long time, because I don't think that a lot of other players would have been able to salvage a win out of that game. Thanks everybody for watching. SeKo Starcraft. Check out Gonzy's league in the comments down below, and I'll talk to you later.